So I'm just going to give people a couple of minutes to get on this webinar. We are going to talk about how to stop staring at the ceiling all night by making small changes to get better sleep. But I'm just giving people a chance to hop on because you know how these webinars are. If I say 8 o'clock, that means that people will be here shortly. If you have any questions, just pop them in the chat box. I'm not going to look at the Q&A. I'm just going to look at the chat box. And we're going to just discuss a few little tips and tricks that we can do just to get some better sleep, because we know we all have a super busy schedule and we don't have any time to rest and relax, and we run around all day and then we get home and then we go to bed and we wonder why we stare at the ceiling all night, and we all know that that is not our goal. So this is what we want to make these little changes. You can do little changes are going to have a huge effect on your sleep. And because I believe that we should always respect people's time, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is one of our biggest issues. We all know we all get up and we have to go to the bathroom at night. We all know that we don't enjoy that and it can disrupt our sleep. But we wonder, what is normal? What isn't normal? Why do we do this? There are a couple of reasons. When we go into REM, before we go into REM, which is where we dream, we arouse or awaken, and that can sometimes be when we feel like we have to go to the bathroom. And then when we come out of REM, we again arouse or awaken. That's when we change positions again. And so since we do that, we tend to get up and go to the bathroom then. But it's when we're in REM that we produce something called antidiuretic hormone. Very, very important, because if you don't want to get up all night and pee, then you have to produce this. But with some people, we don't produce it in the right times and the right amounts. There's a lot of medications that can affect how we go into REM and when we go into REM. And so that will cause us to have to go to the bathroom because we aren't going into REM at the times that we're expected to. We go into REM about every 90 to 120 minutes during the night, so every hour and a half to 2 hours. But if you take a medication like an antidepressant, or you take some cardiac medications and some painkillers, what happens is your REM is either eliminated or it's consolidated, and you end up having all of your REM at the end of the night. So you're having your REM at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and you miss your 11, 12 o'clock REM, your 1, 2 o'clock REM, your 3 o'clock REM, because you're having it all at the very end of the night. And when you do that, you don't produce the antidiuretic hormone that you need to keep you from going to the bathroom. That's one of our problems. The other problem is a lot of times we take medications that either have a diuretic property or a drying property, and depending on when we take them can affect us having to go to the bathroom at night. A lot of blood pressure medications have a diuretic effect, so we take them before we go to bed to keep our blood pressure down, and we end up having to get up all night to go to the bathroom because the doctors want to keep us from having to go to the bathroom all day and complaining to them. So they're really working against us. We want you to sleep through the night because we know you're going to be healthier if you sleep through the night. However, if you're going to be having problems where you're having to pee all the time during the night because you've taken these medications, you may want to talk to your doctor about changing the times you take them, because you're better off going to the bathroom during the day than you are at night. Oh, sorry. So let's talk a little bit about when and what we drink, because that does affect when we go to the bathroom and how much we go to the bathroom, especially when we're talking about things that have diuretic effect, and even some foods that have diuretic effect, because there are foods such as parsley that people don't realize have a very diuretic effect on us. Parsley and some other herbs, some of the green leafy greens that we take have a very diuretic effect, and if they have a diuretic effect, that means we're going to be going to the bathroom at night. So if you're going to have that at night, expect that you're going to go to the bathroom. So what you want to be doing is drinking your water through the day. That's going to keep you hydrated, but it's also, as you drink more water, your body gets used to having more water in its system, so it doesn't store as much in your legs when you're sitting all day. It doesn't store as much in your extremities, so that way you don't have to you're not getting all that excess fluid out of your legs at night, and you're able to spend more time not going to the bathroom. Your bodies really do adjust better. The other thing is caffeine. Caffeine is a huge diuretic, and people don't realize it because they like to drink their coffee or their tea. Especially, I live in the South, so people drink sweet tea. And sweet tea is great, except for that little problem with the caffeine. So if you're going to be drinking that at night, you're going to have that diuretic effect from the caffeine in the tea. And that's going to keep you from spending the night not having to get up to go to the bathroom. And then the last problem that we have is that when we go to the bathroom, when we get older, the muscles are just not as strong as they were. And so with that, there are all different kinds of treatments, and then you can talk to your doctor about medications. The pumpkin seed extract is supposed to help with the muscles as well, if you prefer more natural methods. I'm not one to take a pill. That's me personally. I take as few pills as I can. I much rather change my diet than take a pill. And if I can take something that's natural, that's a supplement that the doctor thinks is good to use, I am very careful about what supplements, because supplements are not regulated the way they should be. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about how exercise helps and hinders your sleep, because this is another big one. There are a lot of people who come home from work and then they exercise and then they have dinner, or they have dinner and then they exercise. Well, you've just increased your oxygen levels. You've just increased your sugar levels. You've just increased everything in your metabolism to say, hi, I have energy. I'm not ready to go to bed. This is a problem. We go out, if we go to the gym, I love the Gym by Me has a Zumba class that they have at 7:30 at night, and they have another one at 9 o'clock at night, which is great. If you are a night shift worker, take advantage of it. That's wonderful. Go Zumba at 9 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night. But if you're not, and you're taking this because you're trying to get your exercise in before you go to bed, and then you're wondering why I'm staring at the ceiling, and you're not recovering, because now you're not just interfering with your sleep, you're interfering with your recovery from that exercise. You know, if I'm doing a Zumba class, I need to recover afterwards, especially because I have about as much rhythm as a rock. So when we're exercising, if we're jogging, or we're jogging, or we're exercising, or we're lifting weights, we always need to recover. Our muscles need downtime. They need to relax. And if we need to relax, we can't do that by exercising before bed. We need at least 3 hours before bed to bring our metabolisms down. So if you are going to exercise or have dinner, you want to do both of those 3 hours before bed, so that way your system can get ready to sleep. So keep that in mind. Now, if you do want to exercise, there are some good exercises that you can do before bed. And I do, as I've said before, I do breathing exercises. I will do progressive relaxation exercises. I will do yoga and stretching, because yoga and stretching, especially ones where you take it slow and you concentrate and you get those nice long stretches, is going to help you to increase your oxygen but decrease your stress level, decrease your respiratory rate, decrease your heart rate, and all of that is going to help you to go to bed, because it's going to help you relax and come down. We don't want you to be all stressed out before you go to sleep. So I have a question. Can the amount of sleep affect, like if you do a light workout, are you able to sleep better, and the amount of exercise is no sleep? So that's an excellent question. And that the question is, does exercise help you sleep? Absolutely. If we exercise at the right time, and even if it's a light exercise. So like this morning I did 30 minutes of walking. I walked just under 2 miles. And so when I go to, because my metabolism was up and it was going, and now it's getting darker and I'm able to slow down, my body will say, oh, I need to recover. And so it will help me to go to sleep better. The same is true with any kind of exercise. But the trick is to make sure that you're doing it far enough ahead of bedtime that you're not interfering with your body's ability to relax and go to sleep. So one of the biggest problems that people have is pain. People have headaches before they go to bed, or the opposite. They wake up in the morning and they have a rip-roaring headache. They wake up with migraines. Or they're going to bed and they have pain. So how do you deal with that and still able to get to sleep? Especially when the pain is chronic. And of course, I'm not saying that you don't take medications. I believe that medications prescribed by doctors is very good, but let's talk about some of the things you can do to help yourself. Even if you're experiencing pain, learning how to do relaxation techniques, whatever one works for you. Diaphragmatic breathing helps me because I have to concentrate and slow down and count. Progressive relaxation also works. Meditation or guided imagery, all those things are going to help you to manage pain. Pain is not, we don't get rid of it, but we do learn how to manage it and how to live with it. So when we're doing that, when we're dealing with pain, we have to think about that. So the question is what is diaphragmatic breathing, and what does it do, and what does it mean? When we're in pain, one of the problems we have is we tend to breathe with the smallest part of our lungs. Our lungs literally go from just below our shoulders to at the bottom of our rib cage. On the bottom of our rib cage is a bell-shaped muscle. It's called the diaphragm. It drops down when we take a breath in to make the lungs bigger. But we don't tend to use it when we're in pain because we're hunched in and we tend to be in on ourselves. So when you relax and you push your belly out when you take a deep breath in, you're pulling your diaphragm down. So the best way to do diaphragmatic breathing is to lie with your hands on your stomach right below your ribs. And when you're taking a deep breath in, push your belly out. You will feel your belly push against your hands. And you're going to do it slow. So you're going to take a nice slow, I do a 5 count in, I hold it for 3, and a 5 count out. So 5 count in, pushing your belly out, hold it, and push my belly in. It makes you think, it increases your oxygen, and that hold lets you actually recruit some of the smaller airways that you don't normally use. So you're getting even higher oxygen levels into your blood. That's going to help you relax. Our brain loves oxygen. It's happy when it has oxygen. So we want to make sure that you're getting enough oxygen because it will help to slow your brain down. So that's one of the things we use. If you have pain in your legs or your back, stretching again is really great way to do it. There are excellent stretches. I made a little video about the stretches I do, but you can look on ACE because that's what that was the recommendation from my doctor. That's the site for the trainers and where they get their information. And you can get stretches from there. Or you can talk to your doctor and see if you can get a chance to go to a physical therapist. ACE, okay, the question is what is ACE? ACE is the website for where the trainers go to get certified to be personal trainers. And so you can go on their website and they have a whole library of exercises that you can download. They don't charge you anything, it's free. And they have video demonstrations of how to perform a lot of these exercises also, so that way you know you're doing them right, because there's nothing worse than doing an exercise poorly. So that's where I learned the best stretches for my hamstrings and for my hip flexors, because I tend to get tight in my hip flexors. And then I get tight in my shoulders because I'm sitting at a keyboard all day like this. I'm probably a Tyrannosaurus Rex in disguise. So I needed to learn how to stretch out here, and they have stretches on there, and then they have the videos that you can, and if you email me, I will send the website. The next thing I want to talk about is especially true for women, although it does affect men also. So you guys, you don't get off so easy either. But women, we go through different stages of life, and with it are different hormones. And different stages of life also produce different sleep problems. So like when we get our periods, we have pain. We have to deal with that. We have to deal with muscle cramps. We have to deal with leg cramps. So that's when we have to think about things such as how much magnesium we're getting, how much iron we're getting, how much sodium we're getting, because you want to make sure your muscles are working optimally. So make sure you're getting enough water and enough electrolytes. There are some really good electrolyte brands out there that don't have any sugar in them. I like Ultima because it has no sugar. It has a pleasant taste, and it's not as minerally, for lack of a better word. And it's just a powder that I add to my water, especially when I jog in the summer, because otherwise my muscles will cramp at night. So it's a good thing that you could maybe take right before you get your period or when you have your period to help with some of those muscle cramping issues. Pregnancy, that's a whole other issue, and I could spend a whole night just talking about problems with pregnancy, and I may do that. But if you have any questions while you're pregnant about how you can improve your sleep, because you're not sleeping just for yourself, you're sleeping for your baby. But really, the biggest problems we have as women come when we hit perimenopause and menopause. Perimenopause is, we can start going into it anytime from 40 on up, and it can last as long as 15 years. So if you're in a perimenopausal state, that's, your hormones are always fluctuating. They're going up, they're going down, they're going backwards, they're going sideways. And that's going to affect your sleep a lot. The hot flashes affect your sleep. Best thing I ever learned for a hot flash is to take a cool, damp towel and put it around the back of your neck, under your hair, because that's right back there on the back of your base of your neck is where the body controls its body temperature. And so if you put a cool, damp cloth there, it'll help your body to think that it's cool, and it'll help stop the hot flash really quickly. We also get a lot more muscle cramps, so we have to be very good with our potassium and our magnesium. We have problems with insomnia. Some of it is hormonal, some of it is because we don't know how to adjust to the new changes in our body. We're not exercising the way we need to. We're not getting enough sunlight. And some of it is because perimenopause happens when our career is at our busiest and when we're being pulled in 8 different directions. This is when our kids are getting grown, our parents are getting older, and so we're being pulled in a lot of different directions. When you're pulled in a lot of different directions and you're very stressed, we think it's normal to have insomnia, but it's really not, because we just aren't doing the self-care that we need. So we need to be really careful about that. And then menopause happens, and then we have the same sleep problems men have. We start to snore. We start to have restless leg syndrome. We start to have a lot more sleep issues, and our sleep gets a little more fragmented as we get older. We don't go into as much deep sleep as we did when we were young. But the more we exercise, the more consolidated our sleep will be. So this is when you need to start exercising during well, you need to always be exercising. But when you're in perimenopause, you need to start exercising and keep it up when you're in menopause, because it's going to actually improve your sleep and therefore decrease the effects you have of aging, which is really a big deal. You don't want to have the effects of aging if you can avoid it. So that's my little hormone thing. My next, there it goes, light and sound. This bedroom looks lovely, and it is so anti-sleep, it's not even funny. The picture is great, and I would love to have a nice, comfortable little nest, except that we need dark to sleep, and that room is set up to be bright light, that you have that skylight coming in. You need the dark. Our brain creates something called melatonin, which is a hormone. And in order for the hormone to be produced, we have to be exposed to dark. Our eyes see the dark. It tells our brain it's time to produce melatonin. It's time to decrease our serotonin production and increase our melatonin in production. And we can't do that without the dark. So think about the investment of good curtains. Good curtains don't just help with light, they also help with sound, because you don't need the outdoor sounds waking you up at 6 o'clock in the morning when the garbage man comes to pick up the garbage. I mean, that's our life. But the more we can protect our sleep, the better off we will be. So think about how much light and sound gets into your room, and then think about ways you can adjust how much you get, whether it's investing in curtains or sound blocking for the windows or the doors, whether or not you sleep with a pet. And I sleep with a pet. I sleep with a cat, but my cat is very quiet, and my cat doesn't move at night. Once he lies down in his little corner, he doesn't move, so he's not going to wake me up. My pug, on the other hand, snores like a freight train. He does not get to sleep with me because he would be very disturbing. So think about, is your pet being helpful, or are they being disturbing? The same is true with the spouse. Is the spouse keeping you awake, or is the spouse letting you sleep? There's nothing wrong with sleeping in separate rooms. There's nothing wrong with going to bed at separate times. There's nothing wrong with wearing earplugs. There's nothing wrong with wearing a light mask, but you always need to be considerate of the other person. So always think about that. So now I'm going to open it up because I'm only taking half hour of your time. So if there's any other questions, I'm more than willing to answer them. And then I have a special offer for anybody who's watched the video. So I think I got most of the questions. And you've noticed that I've been putting a lot of videos out. I will do a whole video on just diaphragmatic breathing. I have a question about melatonin supplements and are they a good idea? So my belief is that there are certain people who will benefit from melatonin, but we are, one, taking way too much of it. We're not taking the right kind of supplement, and we're not taking, we're giving it to the wrong people. Melatonin is a hormone our body produces. It produces is when we're exposed to dark. If we're not exposed to dark, we're not going to produce it. If we do produce it, if we do need to take it, it's because we're older. As we get older, perimenopause, menopausal, we're not going to produce as much of it, and we may find that a small amount, you should always start with 1 milligram of melatonin. I know the stores have the bottles, and it's like 5 milligrams and 10 milligram pills. A pill has one problem. Hormone is just a protein. If you swallow a protein, your stomach breaks it down and digests it. So it's not getting into your bloodstream. If you take a coated one, so it's going into your intestine, it's getting to the bloodstream, but really you're either getting too much or too little of it. If you're taking a liquid that's sublingual, it's going right into your bloodstream and you know how much you're getting. And you only should be doing 1 milligram, maybe 2 milligrams if your doctor prescribes that. But anything more than that is not healthy, and they don't have any long-term effects, especially in children, of what this is going to do. What they do know is if you start taking melatonin, that your body will stop producing melatonin. So if your body stops producing it, then you're going to continue to need it. And when you come off of it, you're going to get something called rebound, which means that you're going to be staring at the ceiling again, and you're going to think, oh, I must need it. But really, it's your body has to get back to producing it again. Think about when you're giving this to a child. A child's brain is designed to produce melatonin so they can sleep, so they can go into all the sleep stages. We need to give them 30 minutes, 45 minutes, some of them an hour of dark before they go to bed. If we're giving them melatonin, their brain's not producing it naturally. If they're not producing it naturally, who says they're going into the right stages of sleep and that they're producing enough growth hormone, that they're consolidating their memories properly, that they're consolidating their emotions properly? We're not able to tell that. I would never take a chance with my child unless the doctor specifically told me that this was what I needed and why I needed it. That is my opinion. So melatonin is one of those, people have very strong opinions about it, but the medical science is coming back saying that melatonin is dangerous. It's turning out to be just as bad as some of the other sleep aids that are out on the market. Okay, so if you want to really get into your sleep and trying to figure out what you can do to make your sleep optimal, so you increase your memory, you increase your energy, you're feeling healthier, it decreases the effects of aging on you. If you really want to get into that, I have a 12-week sleep program. Just email me if you want to find out more. And if you email me, I will also send you my 7 best tips for getting a good night's sleep. So I hope that you enjoyed your time with me. Does anybody else have any other questions? I hope you guys have a good night.